you need to listen
Beware
to
of
this.
scammers. That's the news today. And this is something that was brought up by Jose Carlos from Emboga last week at the Fotocasa training session. He mentioned about all these different scams that are taking place where people are actually selling properties that they don't own. The news that I saw was from late February, so about a month ago. And this involved a case where a Marbella property was sold for 320,000 euros, worth about $1 million, to somebody without the owners, who are from Miami, knowing anything about it. And according to the press report, what they had is they had a false power of attorney and fake passports, fake documentation. And this all went to notary, got signed and everything like that. And then a complaint was made, and the courts have sort of frozen the property whilst they sort this out. But this is really the message here is, if you see a property for sale that is too good to be true, check to see that the sellers are who they say they are.
Mental. Absolutely crazy. Right, let's get into the video. So this is an interesting one because I want to get your thoughts on this, because everyone has different ideas. I've got a friend who doesn't believe in buying property, and it's not that they can't afford to. It's his mindset. He's got a great job, fantastically well-paid job, and lives wherever he wants, but he doesn't own a property. And it's got me thinking. Do you know, you've got a lot of people going on about why you need to buy it. Property's so expensive in Costa del Sol compared to Costa Blanca. I'm going to put this into perspective. I'm going to let you listen to something first of all.
Some of the fundamental sort of misconceptions that they have as it relates to money.
The fundamental way I think the vast majority of people think about money, because this is what our culture has taught us, the way our culture has taught us to think about money, is solely in terms of what can you buy with it. So if you go to the average person, the lottery, for instance, is like $1 billion at the moment, so people are buying lottery tickets. And if you interviewed people standing in line to buy lottery tickets and said, okay, if you win this $1 billion, what are you going to do with it? Well, what you're typically going to hear is, well, I'm going to pay off my debts, and I'm going to pay off my mortgage, and I'm going to buy my parents a house, and I'm going to buy myself a Lamborghini. I'm going to buy. That's the way most people think about money.
Yep.
And that's certainly one of the things that money is very good at. It is a means of exchange. But the other thing your money can do for you is work for you. Your money can make you more money. So you can exchange your time and effort and labor to earn money, and that's what most of us do. But you can also divert some of the money you earn into investments, into what I call buying your freedom, and now your money is working for you. So instead of just thinking about what your money can buy, you can start thinking about what can your money earn.
When you think,
Yeah, this is true. And it's funny because you can actually live a lifestyle that you can live in places. I mean, we've, over the years, to put it into perspective, people go to us, well, why haven't you bought? Why haven't you bought? Why didn't you buy here? Why didn't you buy when you were in Playa Flamenca? Why didn't you buy when you were in Torrevieja? Why didn't you buy when you moved into the Campo? And so, in Spain, especially when you're thinking about moving to Spain, bring this all into perspective, is the taxes that you pay to buy a property are unbelievable. They are completely
we
unbelievable.
don't have a culture.
And when I think about the taxes that we've actually saved, but people say, well, you've been paying rent before we moved down here, and you know, it was wasted money, but it's not, because I know, and like I say, I know people that have fantastically high paid jobs. I know people that are earning hundreds of thousands a year that do not, well, they have property, but it's property that they don't stay in. I know one guy that's just moved to Portugal, and the first thing that he did was set out a long-term lease on a beachside apartment. It's crazy, and it's not even his permanent address. You know, he'll use it. He's got a place in Mallorca, for goodness. He's got 2 properties in Mallorca, and that puts it into perspective. He doesn't stay in the properties. He's got a house in the Campo in Mallorca, you know, that he bought, and he done up, and he done all the grounds, and he's made it look absolutely amazing. So I think they'll get to the point of this video, because it's all about when should you leave the UK, and should you sell everything in the UK and move to Spain, or should you keep your house but rent it out and just rent a place over here. You can rent a place out in Spain with the income that you bring in for your own property. If you're completely mortgage free and you have the funds to be able to rent a property, take the money from the rental and put it into an investment so that the money grows for you. It's a different way of thinking, and I think there's a lot of people that I've spoken to over the last year who think that they're getting priced out the market. You know, I wanted this type of house. I want a villa with a pool. I want to live the dream on the coast, but it's too expensive now. I'll rent one. There's nothing to say that you have to sell up. There's nothing to say that you have to become a permanent resident here in Spain. You know, and I think that there are a lot of people that obviously that watch these videos and follow our channel that are looking at Spain as a retirement. Things have changed. You know, it's ever since Brexit, things have changed, and I think that if you have a different way of looking at it, and I know it's a mindset thing, because people think, well, I sell my house back home, I buy a property in Spain, I've no bills, and you get loads of YouTubers saying, oh, you can live in Spain for €1,000 a month, and you know, it only cost me €1,000 for my bills, but we've sold everything in the UK and we've shipped out and we've moved. Well, it's different times now, isn't it? You know, I mean, we did it when we did it in 2020 because we knew what Brexit was bringing. I looked into loads about, you know, what Brexit would really mean, and it was the big driving factor for us, and COVID was just, it was a perfect storm. What about the UK? And I've got a lot of people that still run businesses back home, a lot of friends that still run businesses, and I'd love to do, I couldn't do it on this channel, but I'd love to actually interview them and see how much the business world has changed in the last 5 going on to 6 years now. Because obviously when I was still in business back in the UK, everything was fine and dandy, you were planning ahead. You know, you before COVID hit, I mean, I was booked up months in advance, and then COVID kind of changed everything. And I wonder, and I heard this podcast, and it's the Diary of a CEO clip, and it is all about the people, because there are people that own businesses back home that consider, you know, selling up the business, doing something with the business, and then coming over here to retire. But maybe there's other ways of doing it. So, you know, sell your business in the UK, and I don't know. Everyone has their own opinions on what they need. So listen to this first of all.
Okay, I can't do it because the UK's attitude now has become, we just can't have nice things. They don't want to. If I speak to my friends, they don't want to invest. They just want to have the bigger house and the next car on lease. People are institutionally unhappy in the UK right now, and there has been for a while. And so we don't have a culture of entrepreneurialism left. It's been stamped out. Europe too. So it's not just the UK. Everywhere in Europe, the same thing has happened. People just don't believe they can have nice things anymore.
What about the UK?
That's interesting that it says Europe as well, because obviously having ran... Ginny, don't even start. Lie down. Come on. Having been self-employed here in Spain, yes, the taxes are unbelievable, but you have to pay tax wherever you are. You know, and you get a lot of people complaining about the autonomo payment. Yes, and you know, we will get a Spanish pension at the end of it. Not that it's going to be that much. You know, it's not the be all and end all, but it is some extra income that when you look to retire from that perspective. But you know, it does get you thinking about life a little bit different. And the reason that I'm saying that is that it's Saturday afternoon, and we've spent the whole day on the terrace. roof terrace type. We've got the barbecue, we've got the sink, I cooked breakfast outside this morning, we lazed about on these chairs all afternoon. Karen was sunbathing just over there, and it was, you're able to switch off. And one of the hard things that, especially for me and the stuff that I do online, is I never switch off. But then I never used to switch off when I had the business back home. I mean, when I was building the websites back in 2010 for the business back home, even all the way through to 2015, when I was still doing a lot of the website stuff, I would be doing that at night in my quiet time. And I think that the lifestyle that you can have out here, taking away whatever type of property you want to buy, whatever type of house that you want to buy, you can have the lifestyle that's more relaxing. And that's the real point of this video, for those that decided to stay to the end. And it's that relaxation. Do you know what? I cooked breakfast just over there, and then I cooked mini burgers on the barbecue this afternoon for lunch. Mini hamburguesas. And it is all about, and I've not had a single beer all day. People think that, you're moving to Spain and you're going to be sitting at the pub all day, sitting at the beach all day and drinking beer, and it may seem that. People say, well, all you do is eat out. Well, we go through phases where it might look as if we're eating out a lot. We don't actually eat out as much as what we used to, especially in Playa Flamenca. Playa Flamenca, we ripped the arse out of it, as we would say in Scotland. But we were in holiday mode, and that's the next thing that I want to get to. When you do move to Spain, you will be in holiday mode for the first, and I don't care if you've came here on holiday, I don't care if you've had a house here for 10, 15, 20 years. When you get here permanently, you will think that you are in holiday mode. You will go out as much as you can, you'll do things until you find that routine and that little bit of calmness. And I think that that's what I've found down here. It is that little bit of, I don't know if I mentioned it in a video before, I definitely have mentioned it to Karen. I've got 2020 vibes again. When we were sitting on the roof terrace at the property that we rented in Playa Flamenca, and we were just lying in the sun, and it was beautiful. It was just so relaxing. I mean, at the time, my kids said that, I managed to turn the clock back around about 10 years. I was actually looking younger when we first moved here, because I didn't have the stress of work. Didn't have the stress of chasing up invoices and, making sure that companies were paying you and all the rest of it, and all the nonsense that goes along with running businesses and then dealing with clients and stuff. It is a better way of life. So whatever you do, whatever you want to achieve in your retirement, look at all the options. Don't just look at buying a property in Spain, paying the ridiculous amount of tax that you've got to pay, and then you've got to take inheritance tax into all accounts. And this is why we moved down to Andalusia, because the taxes down here are slightly cheaper than other places. But when you look at it as well, it's all about enjoying the time that you have, because we've got it all wrong. We have got it all wrong. That's absolutely crazy now. And I can say that because I've been in the trades. My mates are still on building sites. My brother was ready to give up his job on the sites, but the company they work for were like, no, we don't want to lose you. And he's like, look, I've just turned 50. I'm off the tools. I'm leaving. I'll get a job packing shells if I need to. I'll do anything. I'm completely off the tools. I'm done. My body can't take it. And his boss manufactured the job for him to keep him within the company, which is great for him. And he's a lot more relaxed at his work. Comes to us all at one stage. I mean, when you're back home in the UK, You work all year, and this goes out to people that, not just people that are thinking about retiring, this goes out to people of any age that might be watching this. We've got it wrong. You get 4 weeks paid holiday a year. You work all year to try and get 2 weeks off to go to Ibiza or Benidorm or Tenerife or wherever it is that young ones go to these days. And then they get completely mad with it for a couple of weeks, which is a rite of passage. But then from week to week, you're just thinking about, you go to work, you come home at the weekend, you get pissed, you do whatever, and you go to the football, you get drunk at the weekend, and then you have kids, and then it all changes. But it's all focused around about the fact that we need to go and just, and I know that you need to work to pay for things, but there's also a thing called the work-life balance. And I tell you one thing, I've got that absolutely spot on here. The boss, she'll say that she doesn't. She doesn't have the work-life balance that she wanted to when she came here. And the plans that we had, obviously, when we first came out to Spain, completely changed due to COVID. There was businesses. There was a business that we wanted to start that didn't even get off the ground. And that will always be. Would it have been a success? We don't know. It could have been a success. There is a business similar in the area that we first moved to that is a roaring success. So there's nothing to say that the type of business that we were looking to set up, along beside the stone floor business that we obviously set up, that I did when we moved to Costa Blanca, that was a success. So the point of this is no matter where you're looking to move to, no matter what you're looking to do in life, have a good hard think about it. Don't wait till it's too late. Everyone has maybe tomorrow. Mañana lifestyle is well known here. But let's face it, the state that the UK is in right now, and the state that the world's in, you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.